Welcome, everyone, to this awesome tour of the top AI tools. We are going to have fun today. I love seeing all these smiling faces. Good to see you, Kuba, and Julia. Awesome. Mary and Marie. Awesome. We got a great group here today. I'm going to quickly go through some tools, but feel free to ask questions in the chat as we go. Feel free to also raise your hand. Let's just get started. Have you ever felt just so uncertain when it comes to all this information coming at you? Have you felt like maybe just overwhelmed, like there's just too many AI tools to choose from? If that's you, go ahead and put a little one in the chat. Just get ready and put a little one in the chat if you've just felt like, God, there's just too much information. It's changing too fast, kind of overwhelmed. There's too many tools. Awesome. Thanks. And then here's another one. Have you ever wondered if you're missing on potential opportunities, if you're missing out on potential revenue by not being ahead of the AI curve, that it's like it's always on your to-do list? Go ahead and put a 2 in the chat if that's you. If you feel like, man, I know that this AI thing is so important, but I haven't been able to get it into my actual schedule. Awesome. I see a lot. That's so helpful for me. Now I know exactly how to help you, and I can relate. I've been there myself, and I am so grateful that there are many different ways that we can go. I'm going to share my screen and just quickly look at some images here. Here we go. Okay. All right. Sharing my screen. You can see the music first. And here's some images in MidJourney that to me convey this feeling of overwhelm and just like too many things. I love the artistry of these images, and they convey that kind of feeling. And here's another one to consider. We talked about feeling overwhelmed, too many tools. We talked about missing out, that FOMO feeling. What about this? What about getting results that are like totally crazy and not what you really, want them to be at all? Has anybody had this problem where all of a sudden you have like 3 hands, or maybe this arm is too big or something's off about this? And this one I tried to do with my little doggy. It did not work at all. Or how about this for the photographers in the group? That photographer is hot. He's hot, too hot. Or how about this one? You take your tripod out, but you go ahead and take the camera off the tripod. I tried so many times to get this image where I said to the prompt, leave the camera on the tripod, but it just wouldn't do that. So who can relate to that you've tried to either make text, or you've tried to make an image, or any kind of artistic creative content, and it has just been a mess? Put a 3 in the chat right now if that's you, if it's like you've had results that are just like, ugh, and that's disheartened you from moving forward. I'm going to tell you a quick little story before we dive into these tools. Back around 1980, I was a young teenager and I loved bicycling. I loved making my own bikes, putting all the parts together. I absolutely loved going on long bike rides. I did 100-mile centuries with my friends. And there was this one book in particular called The Bike Book that totally inspired me. And it gave me so much guidance that after I went through it, I said to my brother, I really want to write my own book. And he said to me, Jimmy, what are you going to do? Just going to copy somebody else's work and put your name to it. You can't write a book. And I was crushed. I just was like, ugh. And I kind of got determined that I'm not going to listen to that advice. It lit a fire under me. And I went to college, and for 4 years, I dreamed of becoming the next great American novelist. This image was made by one of the participants in our room right now. Thank you, Frederick. And she called me Jim Hemingway because I wanted to be that novelist and produce that great American novel But after 4 years of staring at a blank Macintosh computer screen and just not having any serious headway on writing, I decided to switch gears. I was also passionate about photography, and there was this one book called Under Exploring Photography that equally inspired me, just like that bike book. And it got me going on photography, and I really went for it. I started doing weddings and portraits, and I started photographing families and people's babies in their home. I would drive all around the Seattle area using those Thomas Brothers guide maps. And I gradually grew in my photography, but I was still stuck on being able to publish. And I still hadn't achieved that dream of being able to write a book. And then at one point in that Seattle area, my wife and I were living in an Airstream trailer in the middle of a floodplain. You can kind of, this looks like a UFO, doesn't it? But that was our trailer on these 4-foot tall platforms that I built out of railroad ties to keep it out of the water. This is it in the winter. My wife will never go in an RV with me again. It was too much for her. And yes, at one point it flooded, and it flooded right up to the bottom of the trailer. I had to take a canoe to work. My boss came and got me with a canoe, and I commuted to work on a canoe. It was crazy. So at this time, though, when the water receded and things were back to normal, a friend of my wife came and visited. And she was doing her master's thesis on this new thing called the web. And I flipped out when she told me about the World Wide Web. And she was doing this thesis about the world's exposition, the 1893 World Fair. And she was putting her own words and her own photos up into this published thing without having to get the approval of some publisher in New York. I flipped out. I was like so excited that I rushed out and I got HTML for Dummies. I read it cover to cover, and I put up my own website all about photography tips. And it grew and grew. And 4 years later, I got an email saying, "Would you please write a book for us?" And I was on the phone in like 9 seconds. And that started a relationship that ended up in this absolute beginner's guide to taking great photos, and that led to 6 other books, one of which became a bestseller in its space. And I'm so delighted and excited by that. So why am I telling you this story? Because right now, AI is far bigger than that advance of the internet. We all saw what the internet did. It can't even be compared to the internet. One of my colleagues says it's more like the invention of electricity. We're going to see more change in the next 5 years than we've seen in the past 500 or more. It's crazy how much this works. So that's why I want to show it to you, because it's like magic. So you're going to learn how to do some magic tricks and be a magician today with some of these tools. Now, write this down. This is the framework that I want you to work with, a 3-step process to really maximize your results with any of these tools. The first step is to watch your steps. And that should be easy to remember because it's like 3-step process. And the first step is to watch your steps. The second step is to choose your 2. And that's easy to remember because it's 2, the second step. Choose your 2. And then the third step is to prompt like a rock star. Look at the things that hold you back, or whether you're building up your own business, what are some of the processes that you either hate to do or they just take up too much time, or as you're doing it, you just know in your intuition that someone could do these way faster and way better than I could. Look for those processes. Those are the things that you want to try to replace with AI tools. And I know that it takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of thinking to go, what do I do that I really don't? And if you have something come to mind, put that in the chat right now. What's one process that you would like to outsource that you would like to leverage to AI. And if nothing's coming to you yet, just have your radar open. What kind of things do I do that I could outsource to AI? Awesome. I see marketing. I see pictures to go with my posts. That's excellent. That's what we're going to be talking about a lot today. And responding to clients over and over. Yes, exactly. Streamlining that communication process. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat. So then once you get clear on those processes, then you choose your two. Just choose your two tools that are going to be the ones that you're going to really focus on, because you don't want to like take them on, all of them. And I know that raise your hand if you've been getting lots of emails and news all the time about new AI tools. Who here has heard already about DeepSeek? I'm really curious if anybody here has heard about DeepSeek. Okay, DeepSeek is totally displacing the industry. NVIDIA stock is going down. NVIDIA has made so much money, but now they're being threatened. Yeah, I got that email by Peter Diamandis too. It's pretty impressive what this company is doing, and it just cuts out so much of the work. While other companies have spent billions, this company, for a fraction of the price, has caught up very quickly. So there's news coming out. Things are changing all the time. So you just want to pick your one or two and focus on those. Could be ChatGPT, it could be MidJourney. And then the final step of this framework is you want to prompt like a rock star. And that is a tool that I use and teach to help people get the most out of whatever prompt that they are entering into whatever tool they are using. So first, let's just start taking a look at some tools. Who here raise your hand high if you've used ChatGPT in the past. Okay, yeah, pretty much everybody. It's the most popular one. ChatGPT is my go-to, and I just absolutely love it. Wow, that is huge what you're saying in the chat, Kat, that, yeah, 593 billion. Okay, that's there are changes that are happening every day. ChatGPT is a fantastic text generating tool. If you haven't, I encourage you to play with it this evening or this afternoon, depending on what time it is for you, wherever you are in the world. And if you are or have used it in the past, I highly invite and encourage you to get in the habit of using it every day. I can't even count how many times I talk to ChatGPT. So here's one post, here's one prompt that we can use. And it's just a simple, how can I create a LinkedIn post or a blog post with relevant text and high quality images using the best AI tools and workflow? So let's see what it says, how it will enhance our discussion today. It always has a little intro, and then it goes right on into the steps in the process. Plan your post. Before jumping into the tools, let's figure out your purpose, audience, your core message, your keywords. This kind of sounds a little bit like what I was talking about before. Watch your steps and get clear on your business process. And then generate the text. And it recommends itself, ChatGPT. It also recommends Jasper, which I personally am not a huge fan of. If anyone here uses Jasper, feel free to mention that in the chat. I honor each and every tool because some tools speak to some people and other tools speak more to other people. There's Right Sonic, and it basically is mentioning some possible tools for text generation and then tools for visuals. MidJourney is my favorite. Then it also mentions DALL-E, which is an image tool that is embedded right here into ChatGPT. And then it mentions workflow, how you can really go about it for the LinkedIn process. So if I liked this answer and I really wanted to work with it, I simply would copy it. I would just copy it, highlight the whole thing. You can copy it down here, but I prefer the way I work with a program called Notion to just copy it by highlighting it, clicking Control-C, and then pasting it into my Notion document for later and for editing. That's personally my process, how it works better. Put in the chat what you use if you use ChatGPT. If you copy and paste it into some note-taking app, what do you use? And let's just practice that thing that I mentioned about the image creation. How about we just keep it simple for this and say, create image representing this, representing this workflow. Let's just see what it does. And that's just what I encourage you to do. It's just play. Let your hair down. Be a kid. Just try things out and see what happens. This, I'm imagining, is going to be a little artistic, a little painterly, because that seems to be what comes out from Dali most of the time for me. And that's kind of what it is. It's actually not too bad. Most of the text is all right. There are a few words that are kind of messed up, and this is something that happens. Sometimes you get text that is misspelled or sort of gobbledygook, and other times you just get a lot of stuff put onto the image like this. But I was asking it about this workflow process. So that's ChatGPT. You go in and you just try things. And if you say, like, tell it to be somebody, that will really help too. If you want a LinkedIn blog post, you could say, be the most brilliant marketer and write this blog post for people interested in personal development or people interested in photography, and have it come up with something that works close, and then read it out loud. Whatever you get, read this out loud, go through it and edit it. Make sure it's exactly what you want to say. Don't think of it as like the tool that does everything for you, but think of it as like your brainstorming buddy that helps you get through that blank page syndrome, like what I experienced with my little Macintosh computer at college. Okay, so that's ChatGPT. Now, there's another fantastic option called Perplexity. Now, Perplexity is, think of it more like a great research assistant where you want to know exactly where all the sources are coming from. ChatGPT just uses large language models and tokens to generate text for you. So like if you try to get quotes from your favorite author from ChatGPT, it will sound like your author, but it probably won't be accurate quotes. So double check everything. Think of it like a crazy genius. And Perplexity is more pulling from resources, and it mentions those resources. Like right here this morning, I just asked it, does Perplexity use DeepSeek AI, that new company that I told you about? And if so, what advantages does it have for me? Why should I care? So it did some research and it said, yes, it does. And then it talks all about the different things that help. It's enhanced search, increased daily usage, improved problem solving, which is a big, big thing, and better security. So one reason why I'm not showing you DeepSeek is because when I went to go to it, as soon as I heard about it, I couldn't get access to it. They said that there are malicious attacks happening, so they shut off new users. If anyone else has tried, I'd be curious. So put it in the chat if you've tried to get the app for DeepSeek and did or didn't work for you. So instead, I just went to Perplexity and I asked this, and I got all this information. And you see these little footnotes, like the 1 here and the 2 here. That tells me the sources that this info is coming from. So it can be a powerful tool. You may end up liking it better than ChatGPT. I personally go to ChatGPT more often, but I do have Perplexity, and Perplexity is being very, very assertive in its marketing, and they're offering lots of 1-year free trials for its pro level. By the way, both ChatGPT and Perplexity, you can try for free no matter what, but they have enhanced levels. ChatGPT has the plus or pro level for $20 a month. Highly, highly recommend it. And the Perplexity, you can get these 1-year deals from different places. Just do a little bit of searching around. My wife and I got our pro level for a year from our cellular phone provider, Xfinity. So that's text generation. And we got ChatGPT and Perplexity. So now I want to ask you guys again, too. Before you raised your hand and you waved it wildly, saying that you did a lot of ChatGPT. But tell me now, raise your hand if you've used Perplexity. I'm just curious. Awesome. Could be just one or two people. So now go and lower your hand and then raise your hand if you've never heard or never used Perplexity before. Okay, good. So now you have a new possibility to explore, and I recommend that you just try it out. When I was doing that thing with photography and starting my own website about photography and building that, I would always recommend to people to go into the camera store and try a Canon digital SLR camera and then try a Nikon because they were very different. And some people found the Nikon to be just intuitive. The controls just felt intuitive. And some people like me found the Canon to be much more like, this is how I feel. So you want to try each tool and just do that. So those are text generators where you can imagine you're going to use that to go in and start a draft for an email and start a draft for a blog post or even a social post, or get that answer to that email that you really know you're going to take a lot of work. There are advanced ways to use AI to respond to these things, which we can talk about tomorrow if you want. And you'll just let me know. Now, how about getting awesome visuals? I know several of you on the call are avid photographers. So again, raise your hand if you are a massive photography enthusiast. I mean, like, you like the big bulky camera. Okay. Awesome. A few of you. I know a few of you have come to me through Better Photo, and I really appreciate you coming here to learn about these possible tools. That shows that you're really enthusiastic and open-minded, which is huge with this new AI thing. It's having an openness and combining that with a strong sense of capability, like getting into your most capable mindset, because everything's changing so fast. So if you have ways to ground yourself when it feels chaotic and overwhelming, that will help. Combine that with the openness. So this is MidJourney, and look at what you can produce. You can create awesome paper art. It doesn't have to, look like a photorealistic image. You can just say paper art and then describe it. And you can create fantastic, sort of beautiful art that covers all sorts of different possibilities. Let's see some other examples here. I love this one. And this one, I said photorealistic in the beginning, and then just described this, and I love how it came out. We have images that become otherworldly. This one, look at the prompt. If you can see that, I'll read it in case you can't. Fear of the unknown, need for certainty and perfection before taking action. And this is what it came out with. I just thought, whoa, that is so cool. Reminds me of like Escher, MC Escher. I created images just, to enhance my vision board. You can create images that are a gift for someone. If you want to give someone a really unique, quick gift. This one, I had the prompt of, paper and origami in particular, and creating images that, look like a dragon. I love these ones too. This is different kind of artistic style called low poly. Suddenly the world opens up and you can try so many different things. Some of these you'll see in one of my handouts that I offer sometimes, called 17 magic prompts for creating great MidJourney images. Here's one that's a little more photorealistic. And here's some more paper art. Love the paper art. So we can do all sorts of creative, fun things. I do this for my podcast. And to wrap it up, here's some yarn art, felt art. So look at what you can do in seconds. You could just play. So I encourage you to try some of these prompts out and just see if you delight yourself with those unexpected happy surprises. Yeah, it is so, so good and so much fun. So that's MidJourney, and we're about halfway into our hour. So if we have time, we can come back. Here, I started the beginnings of a new logo for this business that I'm starting. and then created those images that you saw this morning, the rock star. It's a matter of generating images in seconds when you need to. Does this threaten your own photography creation? No, not at all. It can enhance it. You can use it for ideas. You can use it to have like placeholders for when you want to go to that awesome trip to the Grand Tetons or Yosemite and combine it. Think of it as enhancing and empowering whatever you do. If you're a photographer, you can be an empowered photographer. If you're building a business and you need to create social media or blog posts or YouTube videos, think of it as you're going to be a totally empowered talent when it comes to that. And if you are a coach, think of it as like you are giving yourself all of the tools to help those people even faster. I've had several instances where I've been helping someone and I've been able to turn to AI to get some quick help while I'm asking them questions so that I can go deeper and allow them to really let go of stuff that's been holding them back. So that's MidJourney. But it doesn't stop there. And we've seen that with the MidJourney and ChatGPT, there can be some problems that happen. And one of the problems that I mentioned was, the hands and weird things happening where, you have too many fingers or your model has 3 arms. Another thing is the text can be messed up. So for that, if you want to create images that have text on them as well, I recommend 2 things. One is Ideogram. Write this down, Ideogram.ai. And basically, it's a tool like MidJourney that can create wonderful photorealistic images. Hey, Dan, you're there. I use it all the time to add text to images. Does it sometimes mess up? Yeah, sometimes it really messes up the words, and that's okay. It just has a higher batting average. So I go to this for text on the photo, and I go to one other tool, which I'm going to show you in a second, for text on the photo. And then I also use this tool to create images where I still have my likeness. If I want to create a business visual, but I still want people, I don't want it to be some stock photo or some AI generated model looking kind of person that doesn't look anything like me. I can keep my likeness and add AI to the background. That's what I did with this image of Ben, who's on the call. This is what I did with our family, creating a little card and with my sons acting like Jedis, that image, the Jedi lightsaber, and the background were added. Or this one, the Van Gogh style. So you can have a lot of fun with that. It's a little bit more complicated. So if you really want, we can go into that tomorrow. And anytime I say, if you really want, go ahead and put it in the chat. Yes, Jim, I really want that. So I know that that's something that's really important to you, because that's my main goal, is making sure that this is relevant to you so that you can really feel that inspiration and move forward with one tiny step that will make you really imbibe this so you can be surfing that AI wave. My whole mission in life is to help people understand these tools so that they can be surfing that wave instead of be behind it or submerged by it. There's so much change happening and so much adaptability is needed that it's just become my mission to help all of my friends take advantage of this and learn how to use these magic tools so you are that empowered photographer or coach or content creator or business owner. So I mentioned this is one tool for adding the awesome text. Now, often it doesn't do it exactly right, so I go to Canva. Who here, raise your hand if you use Canva. Raise your hand and wave it about if you use Canva. Awesome. That really helps. Thank you so much. So for a few of you, it's new, and it also has powerful AI in it as well. But even on its bare basic level, if you don't even get into its magic design possibilities, it is a fantastic tool for creating images. Those photography enthusiasts in the room, I know that you've used Photoshop or tools like it a lot, and those are awesome, but I never go to them anymore. Never. I canceled my Adobe account. And a lot of the reason is Canva is so much easier. I just find I can go up here and create something so quickly. Like I said, I took that image that AI generated and I took an emoticon that came from my Apple iPhone and had ChatGPT reimagine that emoticon, and I put it together here with Canva in minutes, if not seconds. It was like so quick that I was able to just get back to the work that is really moving the needle for me. Thank you so much. So we can have a lot of fun in Canva creating things like logos, but it doesn't stop there by any means at all. We can also go to YouTube thumbnails. If you ever create YouTube videos, it's really important that you have a YouTube thumbnail, a custom thumbnail, and it will greatly increase the amount of people that see your video, which is what you really want. So come here to Canva, create a thumbnail again in like 2 minutes, and you're back to work. You could also do video in Canva. Can you believe that? You can even do video. You don't have to have a whole separate program like Adobe Premiere that you have to have this huge learning curve. And then they change something and it's all confusing and you have to keep up with it. You can just come here to Canva and import your visuals or your music, which is what we're going to talk about next. And then you can create a video super quickly. I'll show you one right now. This one, I created this video art in something that we'll talk about tomorrow, again, if you really want it. If you want to learn how to generate video, put it in the chat. Oh my God, I totally want it, Jim. I'll show you the tool tomorrow. But as a preview of that, I used this tool to take, I didn't show you this image when I was showing you the MidJourney paper art images, but it was in there. I used MidJourney and said paper art of this woman playing a piano to help out my wife. She's an awesome screenwriter and she's writing a screenplay about Charlotte Bronte and Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights, if you've ever read that back in your past. And so I wanted to give her some art, and MidJourney created this still image that you're seeing here. Then I took it into this video program, a little preview if you want to look at it tonight. It's called Runway ML. And I made a video out of it and I showed it to my wife and she was like so delighted, but she said, it feels weird though, because there's no music. She's playing. And so then I used the tool that I'm about to show you to create a song and I put them together and this is what it does. We have a video that has beautiful sound and I'll play the song for you in Suno, which is what we're going to do now. But definitely check out Canva if you haven't already. And if you have used it, again, see if you can tie it to one of your current habits and do some habit stacking so that it just becomes something that you're much more used to. It becomes much more comfortable. All these tools probably feel very uncomfortable and unusual, but the more you do them, the more they will become comfortable. So this is our 6th tool today that I'm just giving you a quick tour on. And the question, did Canva just create a video of the picture? No, the Runway ML did. I put the picture into Runway ML and said, make a video out of this. And it only goes for 10 seconds. That's one of the limitations, but a lot of people are splicing together mini 10-second segments into making longer videos that are just, sometimes they're unbelievably good. But I did that. I used Runway ML to create the video. And then I took the video into Canva and then added my soundtrack.
Can I post the link to
Yeah.
the Canva with the audio? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks
You
so
can
much.
click on that link that Jim
Yeah.
gave me and you can hear it and see it in action. It makes it really fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and thank you for the suggestion in the chat too about turning on the share sound with my Zoom share, and it is turned on, so I don't know why that sound didn't come through on Canva, but that's okay. This is what happens with live demos. It's so exciting. That's what I love about it. Well, let's see if we hear sound when we go to Suno. That will be really important. So Suno is a fantastic program that you can try for free, and you can go and you can create songs. So I've come here and I've created a bunch of songs that I really enjoy. And if you go here, you go to create, and here in this place, you can put your own lyrics and you can put the style, like the genre, like say you want it to be a Gregorian chant or a ballad or an anthem rock song. You can put that here, and then you can put your lyrics that you can create lyrics yourself, or you can use ChatGPT to be, again, that tool, that helper that gets you through the blank page syndrome, and then you edit it to make sure it's exactly what you want it to be. Or you can even use Suno right here to make the song for you. And I do that by checking this custom button right here. When it's on and white, I can enter my own lyrics. When it's not, it will do that for me. So what's a song you guys would like? What's a song that what just as an idea of like a song that we can do. Something, yeah, okay, a meditation and relaxation song. What would you like it to be about? Let's do some crowdsource. How about simply using AI tools since we're here? Okay, waves. How about surfing the waves of AI? And what's the thing? Winning the game? No, that doesn't sound right. Surfing the waves of AI, and yeah, and enjoying max fulfillment in life, because that's what we really want. We want to get back to the fun stuff. Suno. It's not sumo, but Suno is um, free to begin. And then if you get addicted like me, it's one of my many good addictions. It does cost a little bit. It's not as expensive, but all of these tools do add up. But you can definitely play with this for free in the beginning. So we have a song there, and let's just see what it does. I'm clicking the create button and it creates two versions of the song. Yes, Niska says, love the free trial in Suno. You can have a lot of fun. So we have two different versions. It doesn't have a time on them yet because it's still actually working on the song, but it's giving us something that we can play with in the beginning. It's translated what we said to the genre of chill, meditation, electronic, ambient. So let's see what the first one's like, and let's see if we can hear it. You can hear that, right? It was beautiful.
Imagine a world where you use AI tools to.
I thought that was the song, Ben.
Silicon Dreams take AI. So that's great.
I like this. I like this a lot. Who gives this a thumbs up? All right. So we got some potential already here. Just to give it a fair shake, let's see what the second version that they did. Everyone, allow a deep breath. Take a moment to appreciate the fact that we're all here together from around the world. Of cold a bite. It's amazing, right? It's not taking songs and music from anybody else. It has analyzed billions of songs of information, and it's just processed the patterns and it's creating new patterns. So if you want to make original music, definitely continue to play and write and compose. And again, that is super powerful. And this is just a way to empower your work. I showed this to my piano teacher to help him generate new compositions. You can come up with something and then fine tune it, just like you and I would do with an email or a blog post. You can also, this also opens things up for those of us who, like me, remember when I was into bicycling and then started taking photos when I was in those early 80s, I was also spending a lot of time in front of MTV, totally loving MTV. And who here is, you may not want to admit it, but if you remember, yeah, MTV. I thought I could never make a music video, but now it's possible. And our kids growing up, if you have kids or grandkids, this is going to be their world. they're not going to be limited to just one path, but they're going to have other options available to them and other tools. So the more we can learn, the better. Awesome. And there's an AI chord tool that Ben's shared in the chat. Thank you. Hooktheory.com. Fantastic. So you can see some of the potential. And we have just under 15 minutes left. So I'm going to show you one more. And I know that this might be overwhelming, all these tools. Agnesa says, keep it coming. All right. So here's the seventh tool. This is Napkin.ai. And it is a fantastic tool. It's not the only one by far, but it is a fantastic tool for adding visuals to any kind of presentation you're going to give. If you ever do want to share on some topic with even just your, closest friends or family or with a larger audience, Napkin.ai is a free tool that allows you to create really cool visuals to go with all that text. There's also Gamma, but this one I just wanted to show you today, where I put in basically what we've talked about. And, it talks about how we started with feeling paralyzed or overwhelmed and how awful that feels. And maybe the potential costs of delaying action and not making this an important thing to get into the practice of. And then I told you my story, how around the 80s into bicycling, got inspired to write a book, and I finally found a way through this invention called the internet. And then we talked about how that's so much more. This AI is so much more than the internet and even maybe electricity. And then we talked about using AI to simplify with that framework. Watch your steps, meaning look at what you're doing and pick the one that you would like to replace. 2, choose your 2 tools. You want to combine those 2 things. You want to know what you need, and you want to know the tools that are available so that you can just pick a couple to work on so you can ignore the shiny object syndrome for all the other ones. And then the third one is you're going to want to prompt like a rock star. And then we talked about some of the tools. We looked at ChatGPT, Perplexity as 2 awesome text generating tools, MidJourney and Ideogram, and also using Canva to add text or even create video, and Suno for music. And now we're looking at Napkin. So let me show you what I would do. I would look at each one here and just click this button that says Generate Visual. And let's see what it does. It's working its magic. And there we go. Right there, it has this image called Overwhelm Causes Revenue Loss from Inaction. It's like you're digging yourself. And I can pick different kind of styles, but I like that first one. If I were to want to say, place this image in a presentation, I can just drag and select all of it, and it will make an image out of that now. I can go to this image and save it and have this photo right here and just have it be ready to go. What if I just like this part here? You can pick parts of it if you don't want the whole thing. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Since this one is much more up later, I will move it to be something up here. There we go. And continue to move things around to make something that really works. With each one of these, you can really play with it and create images for each section of your presentation and have something that really delights you. And it has all these different possibilities on each one. And like I said, what I like to do is use it to generate the text and then copy that into my PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. How cool is that? How many people, raise your hand if you'd really like to make, visuals that go, you have all this text. Isn't it great that you could just in a minute create all these different visuals to go with it? So that's Napkin.ai. So your next steps are to this evening or this afternoon or tomorrow morning, if it's really late for you, wherever you are in the world, is to simply do one of 2 things. One choice is to go to Suno and just create a song. It's super simple, super fun. When I did this in my 3-day AI productivity powerhouse webinar, many people had so much fun creating a song like as a gift for a family member. If there's somebody that you want to show love and appreciation to, why not go say, hey, make this song about Joey or Susan and tell them the qualities, he really loves to make things out of Legos, or she really is an awesome writer. And you can have it make a song that really celebrates their wonderful qualities and make a gift out of it. That's option one. Option two is to use the text generating and the visual tools to generate a social media post right today. Why not start now? Just try something out and see what you can do. So you can totally let go of overwhelm. It can be a thing of the past. These tools are beyond magic. They are beyond leveraging. They are beyond exponential growth. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you won't believe what you're going to see coming up in the next months. So there's another reason for jumping on this now, because the developments that are coming in the next few months are going to be exponentially more powerful. And those who understand how to do these foundational things are going to really be able to rock with them and take advantage of all that innovation. But right now, just think of this. This is the next tiny step, and keep it a light, achievable task. And if you ever feel like you are getting into your head, just take a deep breath, maybe go out for a walk, do a little stretch, do a little dance party at home, and then try it again. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you even more powerful tools that really allow us to take what we've learned today and go forward. So that's another reason why I do encourage you to do that homework. So let me get a sense of who's going to do one or two of those homeworks. Raise your hand high if you're going to do the homework tonight. Awesome. I see commitment. Okay, now, if you know already, give me a thumbs up if you're going to do a song. If instead of doing a social post, a song is what you'd want to do. Who here wants to go create a song at Suno? Awesome. Okay, and now give me a fist going yes if you're going to create a social post. Yeah, that's right. And some of you here are going to do both. That's awesome. You guys rock. Thank you so much. So we have a few minutes. So do you have any questions? Feel free to unmute. So let me ask you, Alice, out of everything that I showed, what's one thing that kind of stands out the most to you out of all those tools?
How limited I've been. I'd like to create a song. I'm trying to learn the piano and I always wanted to compose. I'm just going to stick with my simple photos for now. I like the idea of creating more creatively.
Oh, awesome. Then the one thing that you might enjoy the most is just playing with MidJourney.
But I love the overwhelm to mastery, that simplicity and that art at the bottom. How do I get to that? Is that the latest thing you showed me? Napkin? Does Napkin do? Okay. I love it.
Well, Napkin does these images,
Right.
has little graphics, and then MidJourney, this is Ideogram, and if I go
Right.
back, MidJourney, has all of these.
All right.
Yeah, so much fun. This is
It's a month of joy.
yes, exactly. It's all about the joy, and you're going to have mistakes. You're going to have weird things that happen. This is my collection of ones that just don't work. And then I have another gallery of my absolute favorites. So, any of these kind of things, you can go, okay, I want to play with this, see what I could create just for fun. More paper art. I love it. And, this is one because my friend really loves Fortnite. So I took his image and made a Fortnite character out of him. So you can really play with whatever you like. And if there are certain things that you're never going to be able to photograph, you can create them in something like MidJourney. So that's That's the beginning.
What is the best way to put a background around yourself? You said maintain your image and illustrate it in lots of ways.
That's such a great question. That is Ideogram.
Okay.
And I will show that to you tomorrow if everybody wants it. If you want it, put that in the chat. Go ahead and mention that to me. I think that a lot of people really do. And it just takes a little bit more, which you're probably familiar with, Alice. Takes a little bit of masking.
Yeah.
So masking is new to many people, but it's actually a lot quicker than the old tools like Photoshop. It does take a teeny bit of patience. So I see a yes on Ideogram. So that's fantastic. Who else here has a question? Any other questions before we wrap up? If you have to run, that's totally fine. It's been a pleasure. Feel free. Any other questions before we get going? All right. Then let's just rock on out of here. I'll put on some music. What a perfect song to come up. You are a world champion for On Your Way. I'll see you tomorrow.